Congresswoman Karen Bass of California, a member of the House Judiciary Committee. And Congresswoman, I don't know if you got to hear that previous interview with those two experts on the law. Here's my question to you, as somebody who sits on the House Judiciary Committee. Now that the Supreme Court has basically written the rules and said, here's the parameters of what you need to ask if you want to see the president's tax returns, how quickly do you expect your committee, the House Judiciary Committee, to rewrite its subpoenas and reset them to fit with the Supreme Court ruling and then reissue those subpoenas to Donald Trump, to the people who do Donald Trump's taxes?
Well, I know we will be working on it right away. I do know that what's coming up next for us, though, is Attorney General Barr coming before our committee, but I am sure we will be working on it right away. In the best of all worlds, we would love to see this before the election, but you know, given the lawlessness of this administration, that will be hard to imagine. Yeah.
You mentioned William Barr, who looked rather downtrodden today as he was talking about the Supreme Court rulings. You know, not that we like to see him sad, but maybe. Let's talk about let's talk about the testimony so far about Mr. Barr that's come before Congress. Jeffrey Berman, the former U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, he went and he testified before the committee, and I understand you were briefed on that testimony. And he detailed in a closed-door testimony to the House Judiciary Committee a pressure campaign led by Attorney General William Barr to get him to leave his post as one of the nation's most powerful federal prosecutors in the 48 hours before he was fired. Berman said on 2 occasions that he refused to resign, contrary to a statement the Justice Department released at the time, and that in an effort to get him to leave, the Attorney General offered him several other high-profile jobs. Does this indicate to you that Bill Barr is corrupt? And if he is, what might the Judiciary Committee do about that?
Well, what it indicates to me is that Barr is consistent. I mean, I think that his corruption, he essentially testified to in his confirmation hearing. I mean, his view of his job is that he is the personal attorney, the personal defender, the personal fighter of the President of the United States. And I think that his corruption, unfortunately, goes throughout the department. And I just feel so bad for those career officers, those career attorneys that have been there for many years fighting for the American people, who refuse to go along with the corruption are the ones that are attacked. And that's exactly what happened in this case.
Let's talk about,
you know,
go on.
Sure. Well, he's going to come before our committee. We obviously have lots to ask him about. Yep. Not just Berman, but the whistleblowers that we heard from before. The whole politicization of his department will be on our agenda when we see him in the next couple of weeks.
So I want to talk really quickly to go back to the Supreme Court cases that we saw, you know, results of today that we saw as decisions in. The Cyrus Vance request for tax returns is related to the Michael Cohen case, which is about Michael Cohen committing this fraud to try to pay off Stormy Daniels. We'll remember Stormy Daniels. And also Karen McDougal, to try to squash their stories about affairs with Donald Trump, alleged affairs with Donald Trump. Michael Cohen went back into custody today. He was out, you know, due to the COVID pandemic. He's the former attorney, obviously, for Michael Cohen. He was sent back to prison for refusing to sign a home confinement agreement, which barred him from publishing a book or speaking to the media. His advisor, Lanny Davis, who was his lawyer, is now his advisor, suspects somebody on high is involved here. Will that come up in your questioning of William Barr, whether he might be the somebody?
Oh, absolutely. I think it'll be very interesting to probe in that. But I do have to say, Joy, that it was just outrageous to me that he was let out to begin with. He is a young, healthy man, and I think about all of the hundreds of thousands of people who are incarcerated that we have been fighting for, who we know are exposed to COVID, who we know are getting sick and dying, and he was let out. So I'm glad it was violated in that sense. But yes, we will be trying to see if that was coercion from Barr, for sure.
We are out of time, but I do have to ask you, and this has to be a really, really brief answer. We saw George Will do a send up to you and say that you are the person that should be chosen as the vice presidential nominee. Can you give us any updates on your vetting, the vetting process for you?
No, I can't. You know, you'll have to refer to the campaign. But what I want to say to you is congratulations on your new spot. I will be watching you every night, so it's wonderful.
Thank you, Congresswoman. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And if you do want to leak anything about the vetting process, you know, just text me or call me or call the team. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Congresswoman Karen Bass. Really appreciate it.